Power supplies. Alright, in this video we're just going to basically talk about power supplies. So the terms will be 8-pin CPU connector, PCIe connector, Molex connector, 24-pin, and I'll explain what each one of those does. So when you're buying a power supply, you must understand what it does, first of all. A power supply brings power to each one of your components individually. Apart from the fans, you can connect those into the motherboard. And basically it brings power to the optical drive, the video cards, the motherboard, the CPU, all those little parts. That's what the motherboard does. It gives the juice for this machine to run. It feeds it with the energy it needs. Now, when getting a power supply, you have to go on the internet. First on the internet. And on the internet, what there's these things called power supply calculators. So you calculate how many watts you need of energy to actually run your machine. Once you've done that, you pick a power supply which corresponds to the energy that your machine will consume, and you usually should give it a 20% margin to be able to overclock or just to compensate for upgrades and things like that. Now, when getting a power supply, apart from the fact that you have to choose carefully on the power you're getting, because you can get them in 1000 watts, that's what I'm running, 750, 500, 200, actually 1200 watts. You can get them at different levels, the wattage of power supplies. You have to remember that you have to have all the correct connectors to be able to plug into your power supply, into your components. So you have to have the PCIe connectors, which are basically the ones which run with the graphics card. The 8-pin CPU connectors, those power the CPU. The 24-pin connector, that's the thing that powers the motherboard. Then there's the Molex. The Molex powers the hard drive, the optical drives, and the fans if you want to. Now, many people cheap out on the CPU power supply. Please, 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 please do not do that. Please. Think about it this way. You spend $2 grand. Okay, let's go lower. $1.5 grand on a computer. You put in $50 of power supply. What's gonna happen? You turn it on, it runs fine, and then boom, it breaks. You're just gonna destroy your machine. It's just so stupid. Please don't do that. Do not cheap out on it. Get a proper power supply from a proper brand. You're gonna feel safe. Honestly, I would not feel safe with a cheap power supply in there. I want something which I can trust and which has guarantee. Remember, guarantee is important, just if everything blows up. Now, that's basically all you need to know about power supplies.